Good evening, folks. And tonight we're going to talk about how a 12-team playoff would be currently if we actually had it going on. And we'll talk about after it would be over with everything going on, okay? Now at the first playoff, well, I shouldn't say the first, the third, I think. I'm not really sure. I don't follow that real closely number-wise. LOL. Okay. Now, get a look at this and then I'll show you. Alright. Now, this stuff is not set in stone. I'm not really sure how the bowls would be. Now, this would be projection. These bowl games would most likely be as of next year if that were the case. Now, Alabama and Ole Miss. Now, first round, well, obviously we'll say the teams in order. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, Florida State. Number 5, Washington. Number 6, Oregon. Number 7, Texas. Number 8, Alabama. Number 9, Ole Miss. Number 10, Penn State. Number 11, Louisville. Number 12, Oregon State. Those are your top 12 right now, currently. Now, the top 4 teams get a bye. Ohio State most likely in the Fiesta Bowl, Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, Michigan in the Rose Bowl, Florida State in the Peach Bowl. Those are most likely your top priorities there. Now, Alabama and Ole Miss winner there will take on Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. And Washington, Oregon State, winner there will take on Florida State in the Peach Bowl. Texas and Penn State, winner there, takes on Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Oregon, Louisville, winner there, takes on Michigan in the Rose Bowl. Now, the 8th seed, which is Alabama, the lower seeds are the home team. Like, 5 is Washington, 8 is Alabama, 7 is Texas, and 6 is Oregon, while Penn State, which is number 10, Louisville 11, Washington State is 12, Ole Miss is 9. Those teams are the guest. Now, whoever wins those games, whether if it's the guest or the home team, move on to play them. While those teams will also be the home teams, not the winners of the home games where they host. It's the teams or guest teams that win at the host. Like Ohio State will be the home team, Florida State will be the home team, but at the neutral site where it's all taking place. Now, whoever wins those games will go to the Orange Bowl between Ohio State and Alabama and Ole Miss. We'll go to the Orange Bowl. The same with Georgia between Texas and Penn State. We'll go to the Cotton Bowl. The same with Michigan between Oregon and Louisville. They will also go to the Cotton Bowl. Then between the winners at the Cotton Bowl and Orange Bowl will be challenged at the national title game. That's how you go between the two. And it's pretty challenging. That looks like a challenge. It's a really good game. I think this will be a very, very good game. I really liked it. This looks like a pretty daggone good team. I really thought we played really good. Everything here is good. These are all good teams. Every single one of them are challenging. I've seen them all play. But as of the cheating scandal that goes on right now, Jim Harbaugh's been suspended for the rest of the season. How's that going to affect Michigan? Well, all honestly, they got Penn State this weekend, so obviously that's going to hurt Michigan in some way. I mean, you saw how Michigan won their first 3 games. They won 30-3. They were pretty much all in their 30s against nobodies. Now, how's that going to be? They only beat Rutgers 31-7. I think that was like their 3rd game. I'm not really sure. Now the question is, who will be the assistant coach Who will be the assistant coach that covers them? That's the question. Because in some of these games, they did different people. They had different people playing that. I mean, these guys are good. They're different. Rutgers, on their hand, changed it up. I gotta say, hats off to Rutgers. They played a pretty daggone good game. While Michigan, on the other hand, they only won 31-7, which I figured would be a lot bigger since we pretty much will. But I gotta say, Rutgers is pretty good.
I imagine another 15 minutes or so, we're going to be good up here on this side. Once they get the hot spots, and then just so you know, I'm going to go ahead and get.
I just think that Michigan's gonna have a hard time doing it without their good players, and well, not necessarily good players, but their head coach, because they struggled the first 3 games with getting into higher numbers. I don't know if it's just the players thing or what it was, but they had a pretty good game. They struggled the first 3 games, and I don't know if it's going to be that again. Now, I don't know if they might beat Maryland, because that's the game before Ohio State, and I think they might beat Maryland, but even if they beat Penn State, I think it'll be at least by at least a field goal, if anything, if they beat Penn State. But I don't know if they got what it takes to beat Ohio State. Now, everyone keeps on bashing McCord, on the other hand. But you can't necessarily blame it all on McCord, because the offensive line is not holding up to their standard. They're not blocking for McCord. And they're not giving McCord enough time to get the ball downfield to the open man. I mean, you can't just judge everyone on one guy. It'll be an interesting thing. And he's already broken records left and right. Several records already. He's already surpassed C.J. Stroud on a few things. That tells you a lot about Kyle McCord. Now, as of other things, we gotta... Sorry about that. Dang. Don't know what's wrong with me on that one. But I seriously think that they got a chance to beat Michigan. I think Penn State's young quarterback, I mean, if Penn State's defense can get to J.J. McCarthy, I think they'll make them look small. I mean, last year's game, Penn State, I can't remember what the score was, but Penn State was giving Michigan all they could handle, but then somehow Michigan managed to rip them open and ended up beating them 41-17. Now, same thing with Ohio State. 20-17, and then somehow Michigan ripped us wide open and we ended up falling apart. 45-23. I mean, that's like what this is. They're like a second half team. Now, Ohio State seems to be playing the same role as second half team this year. Now, if only Ohio State can keep this role going, I think they have what it takes to win. But only if they keep the defense strong, because defense seems to be our stronghold this year. It's a lot stronger than what it was last year, that's for sure. You cannot say that it's weak this year. Now, I got some things I gotta take care of. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.